Right, so, come on, right? Kendo, we've obviously hit something here because you've just brushed over it and you've just listed half a dozen Japanese martial arts, and you've just brushed over it. But I asked you how you got into it and why.
Oh wow! I was working at the Wellcome Foundation, as we mentioned earlier,
right?
And every Thursday night, everyone would go down to the Wellcome bar and drink lots of beer because Wellcome were making lots of money and the share prices were going up, and everyone was very happy.
Sounds reasonable.
Yeah, big thing. And there was some crazy guy down there who decided he wanted to hit people over, who wasn't in the company, who just got into the club, and decided he wanted to hit someone over the head with a bottle. And I was about 25 years old, and he decided he was going to come and hit me. And so just before he came over with this bottle, and I'm thinking, oh shit, there's someone going to hit me. This guy who was working on the door just came along and put him in some kind of arm lock, took the bottle and like chucked him on the floor, and said, "Off you go now." And I thought, "Oh, that looked really good." And we got chatting, and it turned out he was running the Aikido club in because there was all clubs for everything anyone wanted to do, and he was in charge of the Aikido club. So I joined up, and it kind of went on from there, and that was 1985.
So you got into Aikido having been rescued from a desperate situation by a master of Aikido.
Absolutely, yeah.
I can think of no better reason to get into it.
That's pretty much it, isn't it?
That's pretty inspirational, isn't it?
Inspiration.
Yeah.
And you've gone on from there. I have to say, viewers, listeners, that I've been privileged to have been hit over the head many, many times by Tony, using things ranging from his Kendo practice sword all the way through from a brown trout, a halibut, a large cucumber, a marrow, and a small plastic chicken in the past. Each time I felt incredibly privileged and happy to be hit over the head by her Professor Doctor.
I can't wait till I see you next, Julian. This is awesome. So tell me, Tony, you should have just go up and go, "Hello, Julian." Whatever it is that you have in your hand.
We did a very nice Monty Python routine in Malta where we was recreating the slapping of the fish around the face and then slapping with the large salmon as Julian ended up in the swimming pool. I forgot he actually had a really serious neck problem at the time, so probably shouldn't hit him around the head with the salmon quite as hard.
I had a slip disc in my neck, but I was fine. I couldn't use my right arm for about 6 months, but it was okay. It was all right.
And the kids enjoyed it.
But you've forgiven him, have you, Julian?
Oh, I forgave him immediately because he bought me lots of Maltese wine.
Or have you forgiven him because if you don't forgive him and try and hit him with a bottle, you know that you're going to get clapped around the ear with a stick or the bottle that you were trying to hit him with?
It'll be something harder. And I guess typically, I should say for Tony, you've gone into Kendo, but haven't just dabbled, have you? Do you want to tell us what level you've got to with Kendo?
Well, it's actually, I've only been doing Kendo about 15 years, which may not. I mean, that may not. You may think that's quite a long time. My Kendo instructor, Okumitsu Fuji, who's from Japan, he was doing Kendo before he died. He was doing Kendo for 70 years. He started when he was 6 years old, and he was doing Kendo till he was 76. And the oldest person in Japan who's still competing in Kendo, like in real fighting competitions, is 105 years old and has been doing Kendo over 90 years. So,
wow.
we need to put it in some perspective. So doing it 15 years, I'm really very much a beginner.
He's always going to win, isn't he? You're never going to whack some 105-year-old around the head, are you? Okay, you won again, Sunshine. Well done.
You're not.
You've won again. You've won again.
I can't even get out of this chair. Doesn't matter. You've won. You've won.
Arigato. Tell you what, I'll take my hat off. Give it one there. Oh, yes, you win.
Oh, I could just about lift this. Oh, there we
go.
What?
I'm guessing he can probably move, actually. We're saying this. Is he still doing all the moves he was doing when he was a sprightly 75-year-old?
Well, it's about you don't need, when you're in your 20s and 30s, you run around a lot and use lots of energy. When you get to, you've been doing something 50 or 60 years, you discover it's probably more about timing. You don't actually need to move very much at all. With a kendo stick, you're recreating a real sword. It's not it shouldn't, although it is sometimes a bit, it becomes a bit of a contact sport. It should be really focused on the sword and a good cut, and the ability to do a good cut really depends on just reading the other person and doing something at the right time.
I saw Uma Thurman do it in that film, and she had really exquisite timing.
That was actually a very good example, and I particularly like the way when she took her sandals off, she actually moved them backwards, and then she took the other one off and moved it backwards, and so she didn't actually move backwards at all, which is actually a principle. One of the main principles of Kendo is that you never go back; you always go forward.
Right. Is that right? Is that right? Which was a principle of me when I drove my 2CV, because I could never get into reverse.
Yeah, but I want to know if there are any other things that we should be looking out for in Kill Bill Part 1 or Part 2 with Uma Thurman.
There are a few. We'll talk about those later, perhaps.
Okay.
So we were chatting, Tony, the other day, because you teach Kendo, and you are third Dan?
Third Dan, yeah, which again is very, people, when I started martial arts, I thought, get to black belt, and that's what you need to achieve, because that's what I saw from movies and everything like this. And back in the kind of 70s and 80s, that was the big focus. But when you actually get into it, you find that black belt is like the beginning stage. It's Shodan, and the characters for Shodan are a tailor cutting his cloth. So first Dan black belt means that the cloth has been cut correctly, and now we need to make a suit. So really, a black belt just means that you've gone through basic training, and now you're ready to learn.